Good evening, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Average Joe Sports Shows. Today, we're joined by my good friend Cal. He's back again, coming back for a third, fourth time, something like that. And then we've actually got a new guy to our show today who is a friend of Cal's, and his name is Ethan. So we're glad to have him on the show. And today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing an all-time starting 5 plus 3 guys off the bench. Basic rules are once someone's off the board, they're off the board. You can't draft them. So it'll just be basic draft rules applies. As far as does anyone have a preference for where they pick? Does anyone want have one first, second, or third, or should we just do rock, paper, scissors and go from there? How do you want to divvy the picks?
You could do alphabetical order. How's that sound?
My first name or last name?
Let's see. We'll do last name. Make it more fair.
I mean, hey, that works for me unless Ethan has any issues.
Oh wait, so you can't draft anybody if it's not their position. So it has to be their legit position.
No, so you honestly positions don't matter. You can draft someone and pick them wherever you want.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to make LeBron James your point guard, make him your point guard. He's played point guard. You want to have, whoever you want to have, just sort of and then so just pick your spot and tell me where you want me to place him on the board, because we've got a nice little board here that I went ahead and made up. So yeah, so just go ahead and knock it out, and I'll just go ahead and tell me where you want me to slot that pick for you, and we'll get going. So I guess, since Cal insists on alphabetical order, which makes sense. I had the first pick last time we did it, so maybe I'll go last this time around just to make it fair. I'll let Cal and Ethan get the first 2 picks, and then I'll go ahead and take third. So let's go ahead and get started. Cal, number 1 pick, number 1 overall. Who do you
Braden,
have?
you're so generous. I'm just gonna have to go with my personal goat. We'll just go with Jordan. I don't think that needs to be explained why.
I mean, I think the stats speak for themselves, obviously. Michael Jordan, considered the greatest of all time by pretty much everybody, unless you're, someone who
Lakers
just absolutely
fan or
loves
something.
LeBron James. Hey, I'm still not going to give it to LeBron. I can't say LeBron's the greatest of all time. So I'm still giving the nod to Jordan, over 30 points. I'm actually glad you took Jordan, because that sort of takes the pressure off of me taking him first. Then I have to try to defend why I took someone over Jordan. I didn't want to take him first overall.
You didn't have to explain that.
Yeah, I didn't want to explain. Oh, why'd you pick this person over Jordan?
I took Kareem because he's taller.
Which is a fair point. I mean, Kareem is a tempting option. From my opinion, he's just as good as Jordan. I mean, you look at their career numbers, and if anything, Kareem might have a little bit more impressive of a career, but that's neither here nor there. Michael Jordan, and I assume you're putting him at your shooting guard, or you putting him at your point guard, or where are you putting him?
Yeah, he's my shooting guard. So.
Shooting guard. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
All right, moving on down to Ethan. Who do you have? Number 2 overall pick.
I'm actually gonna go with KD.
KD, where are you slotting him?
I'm gonna put him at my small forward.
Wait, you're going with an all-time draft. You're going with Kevin Durant. Overall, I think I need some explanation on this one. Why on earth is Kevin Durant?
Well, because my shooting guard of choice would have been Jordan, but he's taken. And then my point guard.
Well, hey, you don't need to spoil the point guard.
I don't think anybody would have picked who I picked is kind of controversial, but so
okay.
My next best, I would say KD before anybody else took him.
Okay, I mean, I'm a little surprised by that. I mean, wow, all right. I mean, but this
I say it's better to pick KD, rather than explaining why he took somebody over Jordan. He's not.
Well, now you got to explain why he took KD over, I don't know, Larry Bird, LeBron James.
I can see reasons for that. I can see reasons for that, but
yeah, I mean, this year he's not doing too bad. 29 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. He's been injured the last few games for the Nets, and they've been on a winning streak without him. So Kevin Durant, I mean, that's a solid pick for a small forward.
I'm also not gonna pick past my lifetime, because I feel like it's just too hard to tell for me personally.
Oh, okay.
You never really see him play, so it's just harder to really gauge because I feel like the eye test sometimes is a big thing.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Eye test can be huge.
That's funny. I'm kind of the opposite on that. I never pick current players for these kind of things. I just feel like their story hasn't been written yet, so we'll wait for them to retire and then they'll make my lists. So
yeah.
Now that you already picked him, I'll just let you know you had nothing to worry about. KD was never on my list, but
I had him. I think I had him all the way at number 5 for a small forward. So I wasn't going anywhere near him for a long time. That was going to be my break glass in case of emergency pick. Well, I mean, I guess that leaves me to take who. I mean, this was my thinking for number 1 for my first round pick. I got to go with Larry Legend. I'm going with Larry Bird at my small forward because the man was lights out shooting. He could play defense. I mean, if I want a guy who can do it all, lunch pail guy is just going to go in there, put his head down, go to work, put the hours in. I mean, averages of 24 points, 10 rebounds, 6.3 assists. He was number 2 on my all-time small forward list, but I'm actually going to put him at power forward because I think that his lack of athleticism is going to be a benefit. And I think he's not as big as some of the guys that might be drafted, but I think that his athleticism at the power forward spot will be much less noticeable than it would have been at the small forward, trying to guard quicker guys like Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, you would hate to have that matchup on Ethan's team there and have Larry guard Kevin Durant on that defense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not that he couldn't do it, but I mean, what would happen is Larry Bird would trash talk Kevin Durant into submission, probably. Kevin Durant seems like a nice guy. Larry Bird was just destroy him.
The Slim Reaper. The guy can pull up from 40.
That's true. Yeah, but so I got Larry Bird power forward. You know, I mean, I think his number speaks for himself. His attitude speaks for himself. One of the all-time greats of the game. You know, he could do everything: defense, rebounding. He 12-time All-Star. He could literally do it all and could do no wrong. So my number 1 overall pick is Larry Bird because I just want a good all-around guy to set the tone for my defense and all that. So moving on to our second round, we are back to Cal, number 2. Who you got?
Hey, so my number 2 overall pick, I'm going to put him at, we'll slide him at power forward for now, but he can play really any position. And I'm sure any LeBron fans watching this right now are totally offended by the fact that he hasn't been picked yet. So I'll appease them at the moment, and I'll pick the king for my number 2 overall, LeBron James.
LeBron James.
See, I actually like this matchup of Larry Bird versus LeBron James. I actually like that for me. I think that Larry Bird's going to win that one. Because LeBron's a freight train, but Larry Bird's going to knock him on his butt.
It's true.
So LeBron, why'd you take LeBron number 2 at your power forward?
Well, I mean, the fact he's still on the board after, 1, 2, 3, 4, at that 4th pick overall, I mean, that's kind of, you have to take him at that point. But
yeah.
He has one of the most all-around complete games I feel like the game has ever seen. I mean, he can put up points like crazy. He's always getting triple doubles all the time. He's averaging, what is his averages right now?
This season, it's 25.6, 8.1 rebounds, and 8 assists per game.
Yeah.
For his career, though, he's at 27, 7.5, and 7.4.
Yeah, exactly. So he's just under a triple double on career averages. So he's all around. I mean, he has been getting some flack the last couple of years for his defense, but I mean, he is in his 17th season, so 18th season.
I think it's his 18th season. Yeah, 18th season. And he's still getting 25 points.
36.
36 years old, and he's still almost a triple double.
Yeah, so he can do everything. And then his playmaking ability on the offensive side of the ball. He doesn't need to be the guy that goes out there and gets 30 or 40, even though he could be, but he can also facilitate really well, as you can see by his assist levels. So LeBron James at my power forward at the moment. We'll just see how my picks go. If I do decide to select somebody else on the board, could I slide LeBron to my
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll let you slide him a little bit if you want.
Yeah.
All right, moving on down to Ethan. Who you got?
I'm gonna have to go with Kobe.
Oh, that was gonna be my next pick. That was gonna be my
think
next pick.
He's probably the next person as a shooting guard to kind of emulate Jordan's behavior as a leader. Kind of the Mamba mentality, kind of just never wants to lose and will do anything to win. And I think, that's why I'll pick him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that was going to be my next pick. Like I was thinking about. Fortunately, I have a lot of options, but I was definitely gonna do Kobe because I grew up watching Kobe. That was the guy. He was the LeBron of my generation, and I'm quite a bit older than you, Cal. I'm not sure how much older I am than Ethan, but if you and Ethan are around the same age, then I got some years on you guys. So yeah, I mean, Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest of all times. I mean, you can't really argue with that pick there. So now that Kobe's off the board, I'm gonna have to go with Larry Bird's contemporary and probably the best point guard of all time. Actually, no, not even probably. He is. I'm gonna go with Magic Johnson because the man's court vision is unreal, and I can imagine him just hitting Larry Bird in the open court for a wide open 3-pointer. They're both going to be John out there. They're both going to be setting the tone. So I got to go with Magic Johnson, the best point guard of all time.
It'll be an interesting chemistry dynamic having Larry and Magic on the same team.
Well, they got to be friends eventually, you know. I mean, it started off.
Oh, they were definitely. We see that now.
Oh yeah, like they got to be friends, and I think that on this team, like Magic and Larry both want to win. They'd be willing to win at all costs, and they'd be able to put aside whatever differences they have for the good of the team. So I just want to get Magic Johnson going, throwing those outlet passes to Larry Bird, and watch out, that'll be some magic. So yeah, 19.5 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, kind of like we said with LeBron James, you know, almost averaging a triple-double. Magic averaged a double-double for his career. So I see your LeBron, and I'll raise you a Magic. Yeah, how about that?
Oh, that can rifle some feathers there, you know, raising LeBron to Magic.
That's what I'm doing. That LeBron's the copycat of Magic. All right, I'll just put it to you that way.
Poor LeBron James. He doesn't get much love on this channel.
No, he doesn't.
I'm not a LeBron fan much, but I mean, I got to go with the facts and pick him here. But
yeah, I mean, I've liked LeBron more since he came to the Lakers. You know, I used to just absolutely couldn't stand the guy, but he won me a championship, so you know, I got to give him some love. But
I mean, you guys don't already have plenty of those.
We only have 17. I mean, I'm sorry that we're so good. And by the way, Magic Johnson got 5 of them. So I'm just saying.
It's true. What'd you say, Ethan?
But I'm pretty sure it's Caruso that got you the championship, not LeBron.
Well, the Caruso is always fun to watch.
It really is. He brings some fire, man.
Oh, I love.
Speaking of my third pick, Alex Caruso. I'm just kidding.
No, I was gonna. Wow.
The GOAT.
The GOAT, yeah. All right, so moving on down. Third pick, Cal, who do you have?
Okay, I see your Magic Johnson, and I'm going to raise you a John Stockton.
Okay.
Third overall pick.
Okay, John Stockton, that's a solid pick. Why John Stockton? Why do you want him leading leading the floor?
So a couple reasons, actually. First off, I personally believe John is the greatest point guard of all time. I have a little bit of bias. I did, you know, grow up in Utah for a while. And do what?
I thought you were a Curry fan. I thought you would.
I am a Curry fan, and I have to get into that later. But Curry still is an active player. But as soon as he retires, he can start making these lists, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, LeBron hasn't retired yet. How do you explain that one away?
Oh my gosh! I broke my rule, and I didn't even realize it. What have I done? Did I really write him down? Wow. I didn't realize he's so old. I mean, we'll just count him.
We'll just count it because we'll just count it.
We'll just count. I mean, let's be true. Let's be real. Caruso leads the team anyway. So.
No, that's true. I mean, hey, it's your rule. You didn't break any of my rules, so you can go ahead. I'll go ahead and allow you to take LeBron James.
Have egg all over my face now as I'm telling you. I never pick active players. You know, as I have LeBron sitting on my.
I noticed that as soon as you picked LeBron, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna say anything. Maybe he already knows. Maybe he realized it. Apparently not.
I didn't even click for me, but so pick John Stockton. I mean, he's the all-time leader in assists and steals. The dude played for 19 years. I mean, that guy was a warrior. He's 6'1", like 185 pounds or something. He's a super small guy, and he did everything he was ever asked to do. In a draft like this, trying to find people that can score you the ball in a hurry, get you buckets, that's not in short supply at all. And so if I need someone to average 30, I mean, we can go 15, 30 people deep and we'll find those players.
Yeah.
Like John Stockton is a rare gem because he's not the guy that needs to go get 20 or 25 points to be effective on the floor. The guy can get 9 buckets and have 20 assists, and that's a good game for him. So
Yeah.
I have him because he's a guy that doesn't need to get the shots to make an impact on the floor, and he can get the ball to Michael, to LeBron, and everybody else that will pick you in the future. So I think he's the purest of all point guards, and he shoots better behind the arc than Magic does.
Okay, well, I mean that's true, but Magic's gonna be all. But I mean, how's he gonna stop Magic from scoring or Magic from passing? He's gonna look over. Magic's gonna be looking over the top of John Stockton there and be like, "Hey, where'd he go? Where is he?"
Yeah, it's true. It's true. little 6'1" white guy. Magic won't even see him.
Well, you know, I think one of my favorite stories about John Stockton is when they're at the Dream Team Olympics. Like he'd walk around Barcelona and nobody knew who he was.
No,
like, he'd walk around, no one recognized him. They're like, "Oh, who's this guy walking around?" All right, whatever.
I thought he was just a tourist.
Yeah, so one of the most unassuming guys that
tourist.
you'll ever meet. So John Stockton, love that pick there. Ethan, who do you got?
I'm going to go with Shaquille O'Neal at center.
Okay, Shaq Daddy. Why are you going with the big Aristotle?
I'm going to go with Shaq just because I've never seen a dude that big be so explosive and so quick to the rim and just make anybody get out of his way. Pretty good rebounder with his size, but for me, it's the explosiveness out of someone that big. I haven't seen that in my lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, looking at his stats here, I mean, the dude had 2.3 blocks per game for his career, which is not bad considering that he was known as kind of a big, lazy guy. Didn't really work hard for it. I mean, he averaged almost 11 rebounds, which is unfortunate because if Shaq had dedicated himself to rebounding, I think he could have been great. But no,
Shaq dedicated himself to free throws. He could have.
He'd probably be a lot higher on the scoring list, huh? Yeah, his free throws were sad. But no, I like Shaq. I actually had Shaq on my list. I had him second overall for centers. So I do like Shaq. Shaq's a good, solid pick. You know, one of the great Lakers of all time. You know, there we go. Bringing up the Lakers again. But
we already have 1, 2, 3, 4 of our players are already Laker alumni. So,
I mean, it's probably the greatest franchise of all time. I mean,
it's
with sustained excellence. With all due respect to the Boston Celtics, who won 11 of their rings back when there weren't any teams to challenge them for it, really.
it's true.
Yeah.
All right, Shaq, center. For me, I'm torn between what I want to do here. I'm thinking, do I want to get myself a big man? Do I want to go for a guard? I'm trying to think like what's not going to get picked next, and what I can. I'm trying to like hold on to what I can get. But I think I am going to go big man. I need someone who can rival Shaq down low. I'm going to go big man. I'm going to go with my favorite NBA player of all time, Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, how'd I know?
Guy, huh?
I was like, oh, how'd I know?
I mean, I think Wilt Chamberlain's stats speak for himself. He was probably the most, I mean, all due respect to Shaq, in my opinion, I think he was the most dominant big man ever. And granted, he did play in an era where the players were a little bit smaller, so he didn't have quite as much competition. But he averaged as many points as Michael Jordan did over the course of his career. 22.9 rebounds, leads the league in rebounds. 4.4 assists for a big man. Led the league in assists one year because he darn well felt like it. Scored 100 points in the game. I mean, a guy who could bench press 500 pounds. I mean, the dude was just a massive athlete. And he could do offense, defense. He's going to set the tone on my defensive front. And, I mean, I just think of the lob possibilities with Magic throwing him lobs, man. His vertical, woo-hoo-hoo.
Let's see pick and rolls with those two.
Magic.
Holy cow.
Oh, that would be a nightmare. I mean, one of the most athletic guys that's probably been in the NBA ever. He could probably guard all 5 positions, in my opinion. I think he was that athletic. So Wilt Chamberlain, unstoppable. You know, I mean, he didn't quite, he didn't have the sky hook, but there's no answer for him. So Wilt
He
Chamberlain.
just dunked on everybody else.
Yeah, he just dunked on everybody. If your
Like-
shot came in there, he didn't block it out of there. I mean, unfortunately, he didn't keep track of blocks back in his day. Otherwise, he probably would have been getting 10 a game. So, yeah. Wilt Chamberlain, I got to go with him as my third overall pick. My favorite player. Let's just be honest. I almost thought about taking him first, but I figured if I took him first, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson wouldn't be there for me. So,
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
so all right, moving on down, Cal. Who do you have number 4 overall?
Okay, well, I just have to spite you every time, Braden. I see your Wilt Chamberlain. I'm going to raise you a Bill Russell.
Okay,
He'll be my starting center.
contemporaries. I like it.
So, I mean, you mentioned Wilt Chamberlain was unstoppable. I mean, maybe statistically he was, but Bill Russell kept him out of winning a ring for how long? How many years did it take for Wilt Chamberlain to win his ring?
It took him a while. It
And
took
Bill
him a
Russell's
while.
in the way, so
Yeah.
I got to do something about Wilt Chamberlain and Shaq over here pushing people around. So I'll get probably one of the greatest defensive center ever, and I'm going to pick Bill Russell.
Yeah, I mean, what's surprising is he's only 215 pounds. I mean, like in today's NBA, he'd be a little small, undersized guy, I mean, 6'10", 215. But
Yeah, I mean, when you have Shaq who's 7'1" and what, 310, something like that.
yeah. I mean, I don't know
100
how well
pounds
he'd
on
fare-
him.
I don't know how well he'd fare against against.
He's broken
Against
how many backboards?
Oh my gosh. But
Yeah, Bill Russell. He's not going to get you a lot of points, but I like the pick there. Bill Russell was on my board. I had him a little bit further down, but I mean, 22 and a half rebounds, 15 points, and I think he was a better shot blocker than Chamberlain was. I think he had better instincts. Chamberlain was more athletic, but I think Russell had the better instincts. So
yes, I definitely believe that is on the defensive end with the even on ball defense and block shots. I feel like he's the greatest ever. I don't know. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain's definitely up there, but I feel like Bill Russell has that edge.
yeah, I think Bill Russell's a little bit better. So I got respect for Bill Russell. I thought about having a front court of Chamberlain and Bill Russell, but I thought that might be a little bit too slow. So I decided to go with Larry Bird there instead because I want to space the floor a little bit. I got a lot of guys right now who aren't really known as shooters, so I need someone who can knock them down.
Yeah, I was gonna comment on that earlier, but Bill Russell, what he lacks in like physical strength and size compared to your Wilt or Shaq, he definitely makes up in technique. I mean, one of the things that really stuck out to me with his game is he not only would he block shots, but he didn't block the shot, send it into the 6th row and flex his muscles and grunt like a He-Man or something. He'd hit it hard enough to deflect the shot and get tap it to his own teammates, which is initiate his own fast break. So I feel like he did what he was supposed to do, but he did it smart. He's an incredibly intelligent basketball player.
Yeah,
I feel like that was definitely the age too. Once it got towards the late 80s, 90s, and now it's like whenever you get a chance to block, you want to hit as hard as you can just so you can flex on everybody.
I know that's what Dwight Howard used to do. That's what Dwight Howard does, man. That's what he used to do. He just blocked the shot out and he just sort of flex on everybody.
I mean, I don't blame him because if you do that and you knock it all the way into the stands, the whole crowd is going to go nuts and it probably feels amazing.
Yeah. But I mean, there is some value to doing Bill Russell would do where he just tap the ball to his teammate and say, okay, now go right up the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Russell, loving that pick. All right. Who you got there, Ethan? Who's your next pick?
I'm going to go with a defender and rebounder. I don't know if anybody else would pick him, but I'm going to pick Dennis Rodman.
Oh, put him at the forward?
Yeah.
Point guard, just kidding.
I mean, I feel like the point guard I'm probably going to choose, and Kobe can score, KD can score, Shaq can score, but Dennis, he can play defense and probably the best rebounder of all time. So
let's not go crazy here.
I don't know.
I think in the last,
In my era, I've never been
30, 40 years.
Yeah, in your era, I'll give you that one. But yeah.
I mean, who would you say is a better rebounder than Dennis Rodman? I mean, I would say
Will
Bill
Chamberlain?
Russell. I picked him, but
Bill Russell?
yeah. So like, other than like Will Chamberlain and Bill Russell, who else is better? Do you think?
I don't think there's anybody better. I think. Oh, Andre Drummond says he's the best rebounder ever, but we all know that's a load of hooey.
What?
Yeah, there was a quote a couple years ago. Andre Drummond said he's the best rebounder, and he said he's the best rebounder of all time. So I mean,
I'm
kudos to him
sorry,
for confidence, but no.
Source, trust me, bro.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman. I mean, he had 13 rebounds for his career.
I mean, how many times did he lead the NBA in rebounding? I mean, he was like for
Um,
part of a decade. He was at the top of the list in the 80s and
yeah, 7 times. He led the league in
Yeah.
rebounding 7 times.
In a pretty physical era too. So
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he was that tone setter for all those guys. You know, he's a tone setter for Detroit back when the
those
Bad Boy Pistons,
Mhm.
for the Bulls when he won with the Bulls. I mean, and the guy didn't care about getting his shots. That's actually a good thing. They're going to have a guy like Dennis Rodman because he doesn't want to shoot the ball. He's going to say, "All right, let me just play defense." He actually locked up my guy Magic Johnson during the playoffs. So, you know, I mean, I got it. He torched Scottie Pippen for a triple double the first game, and then Phil Jackson got smart and put Dennis Rodman on him and definitely slowed Magic down. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think Dennis Rodman's a great pick there, like you said. Kind of the same as I picked John. Like, you need to have a guy that isn't good because he puts the ball in the basket. You got to find people who are elite in other ways because everybody on this list can put up 30 every night.
no.
So.
All right. So me, I'm gonna go. I want some more offense, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and fill out my other guard spot, and I'm gonna go ahead and put in Jerry West.
There's
The
some
logo.
There you go.
Solid all-around player. I mean, you can't really. I mean, and he's a little undersized, I think, for the 2 guard, especially since he's gonna be trying to bang up against guys like Michael or Kobe. But yeah, I'm gonna put him there. You know, 27 points, 6 rebounds, almost 7 assists a game, and he probably had a 3-point, and he had a 3-point shot. He'd shoot from way back there, but they didn't give him a 3-point range. So I need some more shooting. So I got to go with the logo, Mr. Jerry West.
Yeah, that's a super awesome pick. You definitely needed some shooting there, and he
Yeah, I need
get
some
it from anywhere.
I need some more shooting. So Cal, who you got for your next pick?
Okay, so for my next pick, see, I have my forward option still there. I think we'll slide some people around. I'm actually gonna put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Really?
Will be my
Okay.
option.
Where
LeBron James down to small forward. And I mean, even Bill Russell could slide down to power forward too, and then put Kareem at center there.
Okay.
So I don't know if that pick even needs much explanation. He's the all-time leader in points. He's 7'2", unblockable skyhook. I mean, I don't even know if Wilt Chamberlain could touch that thing with how
Kareem
high.
did say the Chamberlain was one that came closest to it because Chamberlain would try to time it. He'd try to like time it coming. He wouldn't try to get it
Mhm.
out of his hand. He'd try to time it when it was in the air. So, yeah, that's a solid pick there.
Yeah, I mean, he had what, 6 MVPs? I think
Yeah,
he might have the most MVPs ever won.
6 MVPs. I think he had 5 or 6 championships as well.
Yeah, I mean, the guy was just an all-time winner his whole career. So he's one of the guys that can put the ball in the bucket. So when Bill and John aren't scoring baskets, Michael, LeBron, and Kareem definitely can on the issue there.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So Ethan, who do you have as your next shot?
I'm gonna go with my favorite player and go with Allen Iverson.
Okay.
I feel like
AI.
Brandon's like mocking you at that pick. That was a mocking laugh.
I wasn't mocking. I like Allen Iverson. I mean, he's yeah. Anyways, Allen Iverson, go ahead and explain what you're Allen Iverson.
It's just hard to pick at these dinosaurs, man. I can't resonate with these dinosaurs, man. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Allen Iverson just because he's probably one of the, in his era, one of the best scoring point guards. Led the league a few times. Was in at least the top 5, going back and forth between 1 and 2 with Kobe Bryant. So can pass the ball around. Yeah, I'd pick him. Get some more points.
All right, sounds good. I gotta think about this here. So I'm gonna go ahead. My next pick, I'm gonna go ahead and go with another Laker. He was number 3 of my all-time small forwards. I'm gonna go with Elgin Baylor, one of the greatest to never win a ring, a solid rebounder, solid scorer, get done from in and around the floor. He was sort of the guy that inspired all the high flyers in the later days. You know, I mean, guy averaged 13 rebounds a game. I'm trying to let me see. He averaged, I think he was averaging 27 points, 13 and a half rebounds, 4 assists. Just a great all-time player who never won a ring, unfortunately. But I got to go with him as my number 5 there, as my number 5 overall pick.
There we go. Another dinosaur that Ethan's probably never heard of, right?
Actually, I've never heard of him.
All right, so let's go ahead. So actually, for some reason, my Zoom meeting's probably about to kick us off. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it right now, and then I'll go ahead and send you guys another link here in just a minute to go ahead and do the final 3 picks, to do the final 9 picks. So stay tuned. We will be right back with you guys.